Okay, so this video is going to discuss the decimal format class, and so as this is going to be an important class to use, and if you look at the name of the class, you should be able to tell what it does. So if you just look at the name, you just take these words and turn them around, you're going to see that it's used to format decimals. So it's going to format, it's going to determine how decimals look. And so this is a class that we have to import from the Java library, where it has all these classes. So the Java library has all these classes that are available to us, but we actually have to write code that imports that class and brings it into our program. And so what happens is we're going to do an import statement, which I'm going to have to kind of go like this. And so what this is the following. It is import java.text.decimal format, semicolon. So that is the import statement of your decimal format class. Now, just like the scanner class, we are going to have to declare a scanner object. And so our scanner object then, or a decimal format object, is kind of like when you have the object that did the specific reading, or the reading of the barcode in a grocery store. We have a specific object that we're going to create that will kind of apply its magic properties to a decimal that looks like this, and it's going to turn it into look like something else. And so this object is going to be declared here in this statement. So it's going to be decimal format and then df. And if you remember, we said scanner and then scan, and scan was the name of the scanner object. df is the name in this case for the decimal format object. Now again, you can name a decimal format object anything you want, except for certain reserved words and stuff, but you can name it whatever you want. And so we are going, in this case, we use df because it's the good initials basically of this class, and it's short. And so decimal format df is assigned new decimal format. Now inside here, it's tricky. You got to make sure this is going to be a quotes. It's going to be whatever you put in here needs to be within quotes, even though it's really not going to be a string, but it's going to be like this. So we're going to go, let's say that we want to format money. So what we'll do is we want you to add a $sign to our decimal. And then you put a 0, or you could put a number symbol, doesn't really matter, and go a decimal point. And because money has 2 decimal places, we're going to put 2 zeros. And then we're going to do the quotation mark. So if we want our decimal to only have 1 decimal place, we'll just put 1 0, etc. So we're going to do 2 zeros and our 2 decimal places and a $sign. And then so what we just put in here means it's going to add the $sign to the decimal, and it's going to round a long decimal to 2 decimal places, because there's 2 decimal places here. So that's going to be 2. Now there's the object. Now we're going to apply. We're going to use the df object. His name is df. We're going to use it to take this long decimal. So let's say the cost is this. Now what happens is, if we were not to apply any format and we wanted to print this with a $sign, it would end up looking like this: $sign 45.348254, etc., etc., which is going to be ugly, and it's not really how you format money. Money only has 2 decimal places. And so we are going to apply that format here. And so how you do that is this. You basically do the name of the decimal format object, which I'm fighting this thing here. So df.format. So it's the name of the object, which we're going to be using df, and then format. That's going to always be in there, no matter what you name the object. And then in the parentheses, you're going to put the name of the variable that is storing the ugly decimal, the long decimal. All right. So then this then waves its magic wand over this storage location, and it produces a dollar sign, 45.3, and then it actually rounds it. And so, because we have the dollar sign up here, it's going to put it here in the output, because notice there is no dollar sign in here in the storage location. And we have 2 zeros, so it's going to put and make it so it rounds it to 2 decimal places. So that is how that works. And then we're just going to show this. Then if you were if you were following this along, it would be good for you to do this to get some practice. In today's module we have, which is week 6, day 4, we have the decimal format demo, and so you could open that up and do a save as and follow along. So we type the import statement goes up here like all the other import statements do. So import java.text .decimal format and semicolon, and then we declare the data or the decimal format object. And so that was decimal format. Oh boy, it uses camel casing. And then df is the name of it. New decimal format. In the parentheses, the argument's going to have quotation marks around it. And then put the dollar sign, 0.00, so it only does 2 decimal places. Quotation marks. And there is our object, our decimal format object. Now, in here, we want to calculate. Let's say you buy 11 items that are different costs, and the total cost is $47.15. What is the average cost per item? So, to figure that out, of course, this says cost per item, so you go in that order. Cost divided by item. The cost, you're saying, is $47.15, and it's going to be divided by 11 items. All right, so down here, we're printing out the output in the cost per item storage location. So this compiler is going to actually calculate 47.15 divided by 11. And so we do a compile, we run it, and you can see in its ugly form, it's saying $4.28663636, etc., which is ugly, and that's not how we do things. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down here to this line. We're going to remove the line comments, and in here we're going to concatenate. And so we want an item, we want it to be beautiful, and so we're going to, in here, we're going to apply the decimal format object, df.format, and in parentheses we put the memory location that's storing the ugly decimal, which is cost per item. So you're going to have 2 parentheses here if it's at the end of the argument. So you should have an even number of parentheses in here. Then we compile it, and we see then that how the difference now looks. So here's the ugly decimal, And here is the beautiful one with that looks like money, looks normal, and so that's how you use the decimal format class to format a decimal to make it better looking in the output. And that's really the only place you use it is when it's going to be affect the output in a program.